But sir, let's get started. So Chris, can you tell the people watching what you do for a business?
What to do for business? Well, there's a lot of people who aren't quite living the lives that they want. And I come along and show them how to make small shifts in their life so they can start achieving the big goals that they have. Because the truth is, a lot of people are setting goals that are way too small, way far beneath them. And when they understand the simple things they have to do to hit those big goals in life, now it's not a matter of guesswork. It's just follow the process and you get what you want. It sounds real simple, and it is.
Why do you think people set small goals then as opposed to big goals?
Yeah, because we're conditioned from an early age. You know, don't step outside yourself. Don't go too far. Play it safe. Get that safe job. They want everything. They want it predictable. We need to know how it's going to happen. And the truth is, you're not going to know how it's going to happen. Those big things, you're not going to know. You just have to decide, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to get. I don't care what I have to do. As long as it's legal, ethical, and moral, I'm going to figure out a way.
So I suppose to a degree, there's a little bit of fear in there then, I suppose, because you've just said we want to know what's going to happen.
Right.
And the bigger the goal, the more outside your comfort zone, the further away it feels.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose the way we're conditioned is if it's too far away, it can't be done.
Yeah. We want that safety and security. How many times do people say, oh, okay, that sounds great. What are all the steps? What do I have to do? Like, I can't tell you that. I don't know what's going to have to take place. But you just have to know that it's going to happen. And it's a really funny thing because most people are trying to negotiate along the way. Like, I'll see how it goes. I'll give it a shot. I'll try. I'm like, oh, you're not committed.
Yeah.
If you really want it, do all your negotiation up front. Say, this is what I want. Because you're going to come across, we all know life throws obstacles. It throws those curveballs.
Curveballs all the time.
Right. Exactly. If you don't do your negotiation up front, what happens is you're negotiating along the way. And eventually you come across that one thing that's going to be too tough, and then we negotiate to quit. However, when you say, this is what I want, this is what I'm committed to having, you come across that same obstacle, and there is no negotiation. You just know, you have that inner faith that I'm going to figure it out. Boom. And you always do.
I like it. So what inspired you? Why this business? What was you doing before you were kind of changing thoughts, elevating thoughts and changing lives?
Oh, I was that wannabe entrepreneur, the wannabe who tries all the different things. I was trying to do trading stocks and options, and quickly realized I didn't have the intestinal fortitude for that. You better be disciplined, and you better be willing to go up the highs and lows. I'm like, not this guy. The trade went down. I was like, ah! And I quickly realized, no, this is not for me. Then I tried real estate, didn't go far. Did some e-commerce, a little bit success. Basically, I tried a couple different things, but I never could stick to one thing. I had that shiny object syndrome. And at some point you realize, okay, what's the common denominator here? I'm learning from smart people, but it's obviously me. And so I had to take a step back, and I started doing a little self-reflection, and I just came across the right information at the right time. And I realized I had been holding myself back, and I didn't even realize it. So once I understood that, I realized this is it, because there's a lot of people in that same situation. And I felt it was my calling to be able to articulate what it is you have to do, those little things you have to shift so you can start getting the things you want out of life, to get that time and money freedom you want.
Those micro shifts. And that's I mean, and what you've said there, I suppose that is pretty much a trajectory that so many people follow, in that, shiny ball syndrome is a real thing, man.
Mm-hmm.
It gets played out every single day on social media. You then add into things like FOMO, and people are busy fearing missing out which means that they're also then busy looking for that next thing, which means they're going to get over that hurdle or get the success that they think. The thing is, no success will come from a push button system. You know, there's got to be a lot of application in terms of yourself. You've got to apply yourself. I think some people want to have a remote business where it's like, yeah, I got a business. Oh yeah. What do you do? Well, it's remote. Wow, you must be a millionaire then. Because the only way you can have a remote business is if you're paying people to do things for you.
Right.
You know, I people talk to people like, oh, passive income. There's no such thing as passive income. Because if you've got a business, you've still got to maintain it. There's still moving parts which need to be greased and wheeled and sorted out. So true passive income is having, I don't know, 1,000 shares in a company and they're paying you dividends every year and it's a decent amount. Right. But the moment you've got to kind of look at something yourself or press a button or answer an email, that ain't passive income. It's a business, but it ain't passive because it means you're still involved. So your inspiration was actually your own journey then?
Exactly. Yes.
Which I think is a huge thing because as people, we are not trained that well to self-reflect, are we?
No. We're focused on the results. We're completely results driven. Like I said, as long as I get the money, I just need the passive income. Completely forgetting what the process is.
Yeah.
The result is just a reflection of what's going on inside.
Yeah.
And people just look at the dollar value, like, oh, this is how much money I make, or this is the title. Like, I know people who make lots of money and who have nice fancy titles and they're miserable.
Oh yeah.
And the process the process by which they got there, they sold themselves out. They're not happy.
Sold their soul to the devil.
Yes, they did. But it's when you understand the process, when you're process driven, you're not worried about the results.
Yeah.
The results just come.
They will come back because of the process you've got in place.
Exactly. And it's not a matter. Think of this. You have this goal. People are trying to go straight from where they are to that goal, whatever it is. I don't care if it's money, if it's a relationship. They're trying to go straight from where they are to that goal, not realizing that you can't achieve that yet. You're not right now. You don't have the traits, the skill set, the mindset to be worthy of it. You first have to use that goal to work way backwards, kind of going back to what we said. You're not going to know how. You just let that goal, you let that be your map, your North Star, and let that guide you into figuring out, okay, what habits, what beliefs do I need to have? And then you put all your attention and focus on becoming that person. Once you're that person, well, there's no doubt whether you're going to get that goal. I mean, we all know the habits or the work ethic you have to have. If you're putting in the work every day, making the phone calls, contacting your people, following through, is there any doubt whether you're going to get what you want?
None whatsoever.
No. So why don't we put all our attention and focus on that as opposed to the results? Because when you try and bypass that process and go straight to the results, well, then you're not going to get the result as fast as you want. You're not going to see the progress, and that's where it leads to the shiny object syndrome and people jumping all over the place and they're not focused.
It leads to disappointment as well.
Yeah.
Because the result, no result is guaranteed, but you can move your percentage chances most certainly by, like you say, having that process in place where you're going through steps which will lead to something. You know, you do those steps enough time, it's going to lead to the thing you want. And you kind of hit the nail on the head there. There's a lot of, I'm just thinking of several people I know who fit very nicely within that box. But hey, we're not going to talk about them. So Chris, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been helping people? How long have you been elevating thoughts with people?
For 2.5 years. And and it was amazing because I think about where I was 2.5 years ago. I had no concept of this. I was lost. Like I said, I was the wannabe entrepreneur. And it was just amazing how, as I began to apply it, I just saw radical change in my life, not just in my life, but for my daughters as well. We applied it to my daughters who had 2 developmental delays. And once we started changing our perception of them and stopped listening to what doctors said, oh, these are the limitations they're going to have. Well, we changed our perception of them. I changed my perception of myself, and everything started to change. So it's just been the most fun and interesting ride you could have ever imagined. But
and so you've had to, I would assume you've had to go through quite a few challenges in the 2.5 years with the business. What's been some of like the big challenges you've had to deal with?
Letting go of old beliefs, letting go of those things that you're brought up to think. Like, for example, that rich people are evil.
Now, I'm not say that again. Rich people are evil.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, if you come from a middle class family, and I come in the States, I would be considered a minority. You know, so there's this belief that you have to play it safe, that the rich people are the ones who are trying to screw over the little man, and money brings problems, all this stuff. And
wow,
that happens here. You hear that. And I deep down, or on a conscious level, you know that's not true. But once you start to analyze those beliefs, you're like, it can come up. Like, finish this sentence for me. Money is the root of all
evil.
So, but when you really start to dig into it, you think to yourself, well, money is just a tool. It's a tool.
Yeah.
So what if we replaced that word money with shovels and said, shovels are the root of all what?
Holes.
Shovels are the root of all evil. What? So it's the little shifts you have to make in yourself. But once you start to do them, you start to see the world differently. The other side of that, though, is as you see the world differently, then you start to see that other people in your life are not ready to change. And that can be challenging, but you got to keep moving forward.
I kind of think so. I mean, when you hear statements like that, all rich people are evil and money brings problems, and these tend to come from people who haven't ever had money.
Exactly.
Resent the fact that they haven't applied their life to applied themselves in their lives to have what they want from their life. So there's a little bit of jealousy there to me. It's a little bit of, well, if I can't have it, then you shouldn't have it, as opposed to celebrating someone's success and say, hey, look at that guy, man, look what he did. I'm inspired by him. I'd love to do the same. I'd love to try and do the same. Yeah, it's now you've said that, I'm thinking of all the things that, and it's really strange, and it's a shame really, because we should, as human beings, we should celebrate each other's success. Yes, some of these rich people do take the mickey with their money, but we should be celebrating success. I can't be dumbing it down and say, well, you've got money, so you're a bad person. It's like, but money mindset's a huge thing. It what stops people charging for their services. It's what can hold a business back. I've worked with several people who are offering free sessions here, there, and everywhere, and then wondering why they can't pay their bills at the end of the month. And it's like, well, because they ain't charging. If I charge, I won't get any customers. You haven't got any customers because no one's paying you. These are just free people. They're not customers. But getting them to change that shift, it's been really hard for some of them, but I'd like to say that most people who I've worked with, they do kind of realise that, hey, I gotta get some bread off these people, man. I can't be giving out all this knowledge for free. So,
well, that just goes straight into your perception of who you are. I mean, forget the money side of it, right? If you're not willing to charge the money, then that's just how you view yourself.
Yeah. I mean, value. What what you're saying effectively is, I don't value what I'm sharing with you.
Exactly.
And I don't value myself enough to actually say to you, look, respect my value. So it's like lose.
Exactly. We also have to realize that what people get for free, they treat as free.
Yes.
I mean, let's face it, you can go on YouTube University and learn a ton of business acumen. You could be amazing, but why aren't people doing it? Because it's free. So if you give your stuff for free, you have you're not offering anything. I once heard a friend of mine said, I charge as much as I can, and it's my duty and responsibility to charge as much as I can, because when I do that, the client has more skin in the game and they're more likely to follow through on it.
Boom. Absolutely.
And I thought to myself, wow, that's an amazing way he sees himself.
Yeah.
And because he does that, because he charges more, there's more incentive for him to deliver more and to bring the best version of himself for his clients.
Boom. It removed resentment. I mean, you know, I speak to people, obviously I speak to business owners all the time, and, you know, they have maybe agreed work with said company. Maybe it was early doors when they started, so the price is probably a lot lower than what they charge now. And you can hear the resentment in them when they're talking about it, because they know that they're doing all of this for 10% of what they should be charging. And I always say to them, well, you've got two options. You know, go back to said person, say, right, your prices are going up. Or you go back to said person and say, well, the services that you're offering, you're going to have to reduce them based on what you're paying. If they say, why? I say, because as a company, we've grown. Everything's grown. Our overheads are growing. We've got staff now. You know, these guys got to get paid. But at least then they will make a decision, and you can take that resentment away from you. Because if they say, well, no, clear off no more, yes, you'll feel bad for a minute or two, but then you'll think, hey, I've just got back 10 hours of my life. Hallelujah. Or they'll say, yeah, I love what you're doing. Yeah, I was wondering when you're going to charge me more money. Yeah, no problem. In fact, I'll even backdate it.
There you go.
So, but it's about having that mental strength to ask the question. The thing is, what's the worst that can happen to anyone? If you ask them a question, they can either say yes or no.
Right.
That's it. They can't take your life. They can't come and take your house. The worst can be yes or no, yes or no, yes. That's all they can do. So, yeah, I like that. I like that. So, Chris, it's my favourite question actually. It's very quiet. Actually, got no comments coming. Like I say, I think you're going to get more success from the replay in terms of visibility. But tell us one thing about you that not many people know about.
So, I had to cure myself of a disease called Crohn's disease. It's a lot more prevalent here in the United States because of the poor diet choices that many people make. So I was this close away, 1 month away from having what's called a colostomy bag. It's not a fun thing. It's where your intestines are basically so bad that they have to put a bag outside of you to collect all the nasty stuff.
Oh my giddy aunt.
Yeah. And by the grace of God, someone came into my life and showed me how to change it right away with diet. Change my food, change the choices of the food I was putting in my system. And at the time I was listening to doctors who said, oh yeah, we're going to put you on this new medication that'll take 12 or 13 weeks to show improvement. I listened to my friend. She said, make these changes. And within 48 hours, I started to see positive change. And I felt so good. I said, hey, doctor, let's postpone that. Yeah, sure, you call me when you're ready. Yeah, sure. I never called him again.
And I mean that in itself, I'm gonna have to dig a little bit deeper. So what were you eating then? What was kind of
hot dogs, burgers, fast food, processed pastas. Just look on TV. All the stuff. Look on TV.
Look at the adverts, and that'll show you exactly everything.
Exactly.
And the reality of it is that we harp on about these illnesses and these diseases, but a lot of the modern illnesses and allergies and things. When you think of 50 years ago, was there such a thing as a peanut allergy? You then wonder, well, why is that now more prevalent? And what have they done to the food in the last 50 years? And what are they adding to the food? And what are they? And diet's huge. You go to certain parts of the world and they're living to like 100 and something because they don't have anything out of the packet. It's all off the land. But the food industry is so big, so huge, so powerful that no government has got the kahunas to say, sort your stuff out. They talk about obesity, but they'll never ban processed food. They'll never ban McDonald's. They'll never ban burgers or all the things that are bad for you. They'll just put the taxes up. So in this country at the moment, they're going to put a tax on sugar and salt. Because they say, oh, well, if you want to eat this food, you've got to pay more for it. No, why don't you just say you want to tax us more because you spent all the money on COVID and vaccines and everything else? Don't put it on food. Don't try and pretend that you care about our weight. And the reality is you get so much tax on these companies. You get even more tax now because we've got to pay more for it. But why not educate people? Why not start at school, giving them healthy food. Why not teach them how to cook at school rather than saying, hey, we can make a pizza for one day out of the whole year and then go off and have your fast food. So it's all a big smoke screen. It's all, but, wow, that's amazing, man.
Mm-hmm.
So these tips that you were given, I mean, do you kind of like offer other people that advice?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and here's the big thing. I'll share this with you. The reason I went into the field that I'm doing, showing people how to change their perception on things, is because I tried doing that when I healed myself from Crohn's. I felt like I found the fountain of youth. It felt great. It felt amazing, and I started sharing it with everybody. But here's the funny thing I found. I said to myself, "Oh, listen, like, oh, Chris, that's great for you. It works for you, but it wouldn't work for me.
It wouldn't work for me. What do you mean I can't drink water? I can't drink water. I'm allergic to water."
Yeah, I kept hearing that over and over and over. And then people would come to me and say, "Hey, Chris, how'd you heal yourself?" And I would tell them. How often would they go and do it, though? How would they change? They didn't change. And that puzzled me for years. I couldn't figure out why. And that's when I got into this information. Because what I realized is that the first step to change is not about the strategy. It's not about the technique. It's the decision.
Yeah. It's
the first step. And it's the step that everybody overlooks.
Yes.
Because think about it. If you look at the word decide.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this before. If you take the first two letters, DE, that prefix, it means to reduce down.
Yeah.
To one. So words like devalue, diminish, you're bringing down the value to one. Side, CIDE, the suffix, means to kill off.
Yeah.
So words like pesticide, herbicide, we know all the other words that end in side. I don't have to go into those, but something's getting killed off. So when you decide, you're choosing the one option that you want, killing off all the rest, and that's it.
Boom.
So basically what that means is this is what I'm going to get. I don't care how it's going to happen. I'm not going to negotiate anymore. This is what I want. And so when it comes to health or business or money or relationships, very few people understand the role of a committed decision. So I tell people when they ask me, how did you heal yourself? Oh, I made a decision. Oh, yeah. But what else? What'd you do? I'm like, no. The first step was I made a decision that I'm going to get healthy.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, I don't care what diet you follow.
Yeah.
I don't care what medicine you take. You're still going to see yourself as unhealthy.
Yeah.
And until you decide I am healthy, do things start to change. That committed decision is always the first step. And it's the step that the majority of people always overlook.
And you're right. Hey, Simone. Simone says hi. Hey, girl.
Hey, Simone.
And you're so right, because, you know, I've got a good friend, John Hill, and he's often talks about people who want to lose weight, but then he'll say, well, why? And their reasons will be because I do. But they haven't attached it to a actual reason. They've not said I want to lose weight because of my health, or I want to lose weight because I want to see my kids grow up, or I want to, you know what I mean? It's because I do. It seems like a good thing to do, and very wishy-washy.
Because the doctor said so.
Yeah, the doctor said so, but the doctor decided for you. You didn't decide for yourself. And you're so right. If you don't decide something for yourself, you don't do it. Right. It's a fad. It's a hobby. It's I'm gonna try this thing out, and if it don't work immediately, then I'm gonna get disillusioned and do something else instead.
Exactly. Yes.
Simone says Chris is always full of wisdom.
Well, thank you, Simone.
Oh, she's a good cheerleader, Simone. Simone, I'll send you that money later. So, Chris, business, 2.5 years. What 3 bits of advice would you give somebody who wanted to start a business right now?
Decide on what inspires you. I heard this amazing quote yesterday. I'd love to share it with you.
Oh, go, man.
It says, you will have limitless explosive energy when you're able to align your highest inspiration with your biggest goals. And I learned this from a friend who, I asked him, his name is also Chris.
Oh, okay.
I asked Chris, I'm like, so how do you go about through the day? Like, tell me about your eating habits, your sleeping habits. And I realized that he actually doesn't eat a whole lot. He actually has a very minimal diet, but he has more energy than anybody else.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like literally he wants to jump out at you. And he said, because I'm inspired to do what I do, because I'm inspired to help people.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to share this information. I just have limitless energy. And he keeps going and going and going and going. So what's the thing that inspires you more than anything else? What service do you want to provide? Who do you want to help? And when you feel as though you just have unlimited amounts of energy, even when it's 11 o'clock at night or midnight, and you just want to keep going, now you're on the right path. The money is just a byproduct of the service you provide. Provide better service, and you will earn whatever you want. You write your own paycheck.
So I suppose so one of the I suppose what you're saying in essence is make sure that you're aligning the work that you're providing with your values. Make sure it's something that you're really in tune into, because that then is reflected in the work that you put out and the way that you deal with people. So that completely makes sense. What else would you kind of recommend to someone starting a business?
Going back to what we said, don't worry about the how. You can't worry about the how. As soon as you try and figure out how it's going to happen from start to finish, you're lost. You have to make decision. You have to look at what you want and literally script out the end result.
Yeah.
This is what I want. This is what my business looks like.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to be earning. This is who I'm helping. And you have to have a really good idea about that, because that's what drives you.
It's almost like a plan, isn't it? Of like, this is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. Something you can kind of pull out or stick in front of you to remind you when you're having those low moments. Why am I here? Oh yeah, let me get on.
Right. And just decide what you want the outcome to look like. It's easy to get caught up in the process. And yes, you do have to think about, at some point you have to think about the process, but that's after you create that vision.
Yeah.
The vision is what drives you. Most people are letting the how drive the vision.
Yeah.
No, the vision drives the how.
Well, I remember you telling me about my Tesla, my dream car, my last big present to myself.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that night after I'd spoken to you, that's all I was thinking about. There's a saying in England, and it's a saying called "you git," which means it's a nice way of saying you've told me something that I wish you hadn't told me, because now it's in my head, so you're a git. But thanks for that, because it did kind of refocus, what I was, just that one thing, just that one conversation we had.
Yes, use the goal to inspire you to become that person. So when I asked you, and I meant this with love, I mean, if that's your highest goal, then we need to reevaluate that, because
it is. That's my goal for me. That's my last. I don't buy myself anything. So I don't buy shoes or nothing. I buy myself that.
Right.
Well, yeah, you are right. I mean, mansions and jets around the world and all those things. But I think with COVID, I think with COVID, a lot of people have probably reassessed what they actually want. I think it may be a good thing in a really weird way, because a lot of people, like you say, are chasing the dollar, chasing the pound, forgetting their morals, forgetting why they were doing what they were doing, not really having any love.
Yeah.
Simone, talking about a wife's handbags here. And I think with COVID kind of showing them that, something, you ain't really got that much power, because if the world wants to stop, it stops. It's made people realise that, hold on a second, is chasing all that money really the thing I want? Or is it security? Is it work-life balance? Is it time with my family? Is it my health? Is it taking walks with my grandkids or my kids or my wife, or, going canoeing again, which I've not done for many, many years? And, I really hope that, people have kind of taken that stock of what's gone on, and they're not going to go back to the same as what they were doing before, which was being busy work events. Just running around and just doing their thing. Yeah. So, fantastic. So, is there anything, Simone said she's so excited for me to get my Tesla. Simone, I can't have a Tesla now because Chris said I've got to aim for something higher, something bigger. So I'm thinking of a private jet, but I've not got any pictures of private jets, so I'll get back to you on that. Is there anything that the group can help you with right now, sir? For people watching, is there anything that we can do to support you on your journey to greatness?
Connect with me on Facebook and LinkedIn, because I'm putting out more. I just love putting out value-added content. For me, it's about getting people to think. I love having these posts that really inspire you to reshift what you saw or the way you perceive the world. If I could do that, then I feel like I'm serving my purpose.
Fantastic. So you're on LinkedIn, Facebook. Are you on YouTube as well?
I will be very soon.
So if you could do me a favor and drop all of your links. So go back to this page, drop all of your links into the comments, and then people who want to then get back in touch with you can then click on the links and go straight into your ecosystem to find out more about you and read some of the because Chris puts out some great content daily. He puts out some great content, and you know, if you get on Eve and follow him, you'll be notified when those videos come out, when that content comes out, and you know, elevate your thoughts. So Simone, so when I mentioned a private jet, she went, so 3 Teslas then?
Yes.
Oh, and a drone, an actual working drone. Oi, you leave my drone alone. My drone's not working. Oh, I tell you what, we're going to be having words, me and her. But Chris, fantastic, man. Thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us today on the Love Sales Hate Selling Facebook page. This video, you can share it, do whatever you want with it. Please go back and put all your comments, your links to your online assets so people can find you. And once again, thank you so much for your time. If anyone's got any questions for Chris, please reach out to him on his platforms, or you can drop questions into the comments, and I'm sure Chris will pick up on it and speak to you. But if you are looking to elevate your thoughts, if you're looking to come out of that place where you feel like you're going around in circles, come and speak to this guy. He will help you lay out a true path, your true path as to where you want to be. No, he's not going to tell you how to do it, but he's going to show you how you can do it so that you can then go on to achieve. Chris, thank you so much. And I look forward to speaking to you again in the future and getting you back on here to find out how things are working out for you.
Thank you so much, Nigel. It's a pleasure.
Right, people, have a fantastic afternoon. I shall see you all later. Chris, don't go anywhere. We'll have a little debrief. Simone, thank you for joining us, honey. And I'll speak to you in a bit on Connect Like a Boss. Please send me a link. Bye-bye, people.